learn Torah Shem Shemaim, you're not supposed to enjoy it. If you enjoy it, that's not Torah Lishma. Torah Lishma, L'Shem Hashem, you're not learning because the Baruch asked you to learn. But you have personal enjoyment, Mami, the Simuk Torah, the Oinek of Torah. Says when Tali says it's a Torah, garment's a big mistake, he says. Adrabah, because Baruch gave Torah the Klal Yisrael, he wanted to enjoy it. Not only that, the Simchas HaTorah, he says, is also not a luxury, but only through Simchas HaTorah, it's Nivla Bedomo, it means that the Torah becomes part of you. Otherwise, it's Torah and you are two separate beings. You have knowledge of Torah. But in order for the Torah to become part of you, to be Nivla Bedomo, you have to learn Torah B'Simcha. You have to have it some more, and you have to imagine the greatest Simcha. It's a hot, hot day, and somebody is walking and he's sweating. The greatest Simcha is that somebody can go to your office, your gold glass of water. Gold glass there. That's the type of feeling. That's some more. The Nekudas form is when you learn Torah, you have to realize it's not just to gain knowledge, but you become transformed into a chefs of Torah. You have to become a stick Torah. You have to become a piece of Torah. The Torah and the Yid are not separable, but they have to be one. And you ask yourself, is it really possible? Is it really possible for a Yid to become a Sefer Torah? So let's go to the world of Chassidus, the Rebbe Rabban of Pshitzke. The one of Pshitzke once pointed out that he said, what is the Sefer Torah? You know what Sefer Torah is? You take the or of a behemoth, or you take the skin of a behemoth, and then you take some ink, and you write words of Torah, you write on this fire, and all of a sudden becomes transformed in a chefs of Kedusha Sefer Torah.
You can hear good.
So the Rebbe Rabbanan, if or behemoth can become a Sefer Torah, or Olam cannot. Or Olam is less than or behemoth, especially an Olam who eats, breathes Torah, thinks Torah, learns Torah, lives Torah. It's much more than or behemoth. So or behemoth can become Torah. So certainly says or Adam Abada can become a chefs of Torah. And that's why maybe it's not so surprising that Rabbi Chonan Basaman, he once related, and he said, should be a contradiction. Well, Basaman said that the Mesiba was once walking, was carrying a Sefer Torah. And unfortunately he slipped, and the Mesiba fell to the ground and the Sefer Torah. So everyone very quickly went to pick up the Sefer Torah. And Rabbi Israel Volozhiner cried out, they said, no, first you pick up the Nitzid, because he's the living Sefer Torah. Then you pick up the other Sefer Torah. First you pick up the Nitzid. He's the living Sefer Torah. Then you go pick up the other Sefer Torah. That's the idea of Limud HaTorah. Limud HaTorah means they're not the same Yid that you were before learning. Torah is supposed to transform you. Now you become a Torah Yid. That is the Nekudas Advarim. So I want to tell you the following. Everybody knows that we come to the Beit Knesset, we come to Shul, and we hear the Kaddish. We have to say, Omen Yesh Mei Rabbi. So the Gemara B'Perich in Brachas Daf Gimel, listen what the Gemara says. The Gemara says that B'Shor She Yisrael Oinen, when Klal Yisrael, when they answer, Yehei Shmei HaGodol Mevorach, that's Yesh Mei Rabbi. Because in Bracham Ananei V'Roishai, because Baruch shakes his head. Because Baruch says, Ashrei HaMelech Shemekalsin Oisei B'Deisoi. How happy, how fortunate is the king means HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that people are praising him in his house. That's a simple translation. People are saying, Yesh Merav the Beis Medrash. Beis Knesset, Asher HaMelech Shemekal Zenois B'Deisos. The sefer called Imre Yisrael. It's a dying in Kesmark. The Ungarische Kehillas Koshka Rabbanim, name was Vitriol, Yisrael Vitriol. And he said like this. It's very, very easy, Rabbatai, when you come to shul, you scream out, Yesh Merav. Yesh Merav means that you're proclaiming, right? It's the Kaddish. You be Mekadesh Im Shemayim, Yesh Merav Adol Mevorach. Rabbatai, what happens when you leave the Beit Knesset? And throughout the day, you're conducting your business. Behaving in tune with the philosophy of Yesh Merav. So he said, the Gemara means like this. Ashrei HaMelech, yeah. The Beit Knesset, you're saying Yesh Merav, the Gemara shakes his head. Wait a minute. Asher HaMelech, the Melech is fortunate to Mekal Zenois B'Beito in your own home, not here in Shul. Very easy in Shul to say Yesh Merav, but it doesn't cost you anything. Lip service. But the Yesh Merav means something that really is reflecting how a person conducts himself when he leaves the shul. And that Rabbi said that is the top of the Limud Torah to transform a person. It should become a Yehesh Merabah Yid. Yehesh Merabah Yid means to say that whatever he does from his actions comes out. The Yehesh Merabah. The Valley Merbloch, what the Tzibach tells, one was called and summoned by the Ponovich Rav to come to make an appeal. There was a Srefa, there was a whole town. Many houses burned down. Had to make an appeal. They called him Rabbi Meir to come to help him. So Rabbi Meir was busy all day raising funds for that project. Is there any minion over here? Because I have to say Kaddish. Why have to say Kaddish? So because it's the I should just say it or actually do it. The doing, the Kiddush Shemayim stands above and is much more important. I just want to tell you, to have the idea, talking about Russia, there's a Michtav Neura. Which is an awesome letter of the Chofetz Chaim, Xavier Kochoy, that wrote Tofresh Ayin Aleph, 1911. And he writes the following: the total Chofetz Chaim was in Radin. They told him that there is a Jew in a town in Russia, the Yid in the town of Russia, who happens to gives a Gemara share every day. In addition, also for Panoset, the supplement Panoset, also with the Shoifet. For many years, he decided it's enough. He started getting old, so he wants to go up there to Israel. And when his time comes, we'll have his chus will be buried in Eretz Israel. The keeper had Mozoyamo, we know the chus what that means. He doesn't want to be dying over here. He's been here enough, many years. But if he leaves to go to Eretz Israel, it means that the shear will become bottled. So nobody will be able to give the shear. When Chaim writes as follows, they told him if the seed wants to go to Eretz Israel, they write the following. They write, was told to me that you want to go to Eretz Israel. Said the Chofetz Chaim, call Yehudi Oiser, before a Yid does something, there's only one chesed that you have to take. What's that machshava achas? When you do the next pu'ula, so whenever you do something, make a cheshbon. The Chofetz Chaim, if the cheshbon is what's going to give HaKadosh Baruch Hu more nachas ruach, you going to Eretz Israel, or staying here and saying your shir and be mezakis harabim? Chofetz Chaim says, stay here, don't go to Eretz Israel. This is the koyach of Limud HaTorah. Beyond, it made a lot of sense. He doesn't want to die here. So, in Russia, there's an opportunity to go to Eretz Israel. In the hand, Yishuv Eretz Israel, and to live in Eretz Israel, and all the milas, of course, the Aliyah Ruchnias. No. Because Baruch Hu, you have to make a cheshbon where and what will give HaKadosh Baruch Hu more nachas ruach. And the greatest nachas ruach HaKadosh Baruch Hu will have is half of that. So let me just be Messiah and say that Baruch Hashem, we are here. And of course, it was mentioned before, the terrible situation that's going on in the world. And the question is, we ask ourselves, what can we do? What can we do? Rav Rosh Israel mentioned very well. And I want to just maybe be nice and add to that. Take a look at the Droshes Chasam Sofer. Talmidei Chachomim Marbin Sholem B'Yolam. What does it mean, Talmidei Chachomim Marbin Sholem B'Yolam? Some Sofer says the same way everybody knows that Mezenois of Shalom Kitzurim Loy on Rosh Hashanah, right? How much Panosa? That it becomes established. That sticks on Rosh Hashanah, right? Be'ed after Zvot. Some Sofer says in the same way also. Sitting and learning, and you have a shakla you give and take, and it goes back and forth and back and forth. Every milchama in Torah is considered to be a milchama. If that's the case, it takes away from the cheshbon, falls into the cheshbon. Then there's less real milchamas in the world. So Talmidei Chachamim Marbin Sholem B'Yolam. Talmidei Chachamim, that is. So you have to realize, Rabbatai, that every toises is a bullet against the enemy. Every daf Gemara Rabbi is a cannon. And maybe to say Rabbi and if it's the Simon Masechta, it's a bomb. This is HaKoyach. HaKoyach Kol Yanki Ben Yudai B'Dayeso. man shekoyle sheyankiv. But the conceit about the midrash when you hear the voice of Yankiv learning Torah, ain't how you die in the Esa. That's not shy. So this is our voice. This is Parshat Zocher now coming up. What does Amalek want to do? L'chomala Shem ba'Amalek midor doyer. Said the Teres Mordechai, he says, you know what that means? Amalek knows one thing. If he succeeds in destroying the Messiah from generation to generation, Klal Yisrael is finished. Milchama Hashem ba'Amalek, you know what Amalek wants to do? Midor dor. He wants to break the doyers, the hemshech hadoyers. You realize the word dor is written chaser without a vav. Usually dor is daled vav reish. Midor dor. Why? Because Amalek wants to take away the vav achibu. Should not be a connection between one generation and another generation. That's Milchama Hashem ba'Amalek midor dor. There was an Adam Gadol who survived the war of the Holocaust. So he says, you know what Arnakoma is? In those Machshemoid, those Rotzchim, not Amalek. Yeah, they're Amalek. Germania, they're Amalek. That's what Chaim Sonnenfeld said. When the king of Germany came to Yerushalayim, he was supposed to make a bracha shecholak. They make it for a melech. He didn't want to make it. He said, Germany is their Amalek, he said.
Yes,
they're Amalek. So now we have Parshat Zocher. What does Amalek want to do? He wants to destroy, to win. Those who survived the Milchama. Amalek tried to destroy Klal Yisrael. You know how the Milchama is? They said shot like this. Milchama Hashem ba'Amalek. You know what the main Milchama? You know what the most positive Milchama? Midor dor. To continue setting generations, building more generations. The Midor dor. Every generation of Torah that we build, that is a successful Milchama against Amalek. To destroy Amalek. Not allow Amalek to do. So I'm assigned this time for the real time, brothers. The judge is like this. The Bishkov, I'm saying that this is Siyum. Bishkov lived in Yerushalayim, Bevel Brisker. And it was a woman who many years, she was married, was not blessed with children. They did not have children. She lived in Bnei Brak. Those days, the travel from Bnei Brak to Yerushalayim, not like today, very quickly you could make it. Took a long time. Finally, she makes her way to Yerushalayim, and her falls over with Echik. He's there, even like the Gabbai. He says, I went to see your father. The father's busy. He can't just, he's not ready to see people now. She said, I came all the way from Bnei Brak. I need a bracha. I'm going to be a brother for children. Married for many years. He said, okay, I understand. I went to tell his father, the Brisker Rav, that there's a woman here, she wants a brother for children. And the Brisker Rav said, let her come back a little bit later. She comes back a little bit later. And the Brisker Rav says, let her come back a little bit later more. This went on and on a few times. Finally, he said, okay, let her come in. And he gave her a bracha. And it was told that a year later, the bracha was Mekuyim. But he asked the Brisker Rav, he said, why did you tell us so many times to come back later, to come back later, to come back later? Because when she came, I was just about ending Mesechtes Zevachim. And I was waiting to make the Siyum. So when she came, it was before the Siyum. So I told her to wait. I should have more time to finish, to make the Siyum. She came back a little bit too early the second time also. I did not finish. Because when you make the Siyum, is a tremendous Ezraton. So that would be the proper time to be able to give her a bracha when I'm assigned the Mesechta. She came a little bit early. I didn't manage to finish yet. So I told her to come again. I thought it would be finished. It was not finished yet. So finally when she came, and he gave a bracha. This is Rabbi says, tremendous koyach. So bracha is that you are told that from this Siyum, we have all the brachas Amurim b'Torah, which have simcha, which have nachas, panosa, kolas hadas, refuas, yeshuas, Gemal Hashem kol nishas rabbeinu l'Torah, lahadol Torah di adiyas v'tzedek v'meir amen. 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 We'll make the Siyum now, a little bit time. Just a few lines. Okay, the Gemara. The science Siyum Mesechta of Chagige, Omer Babu, Omer Ablozo. Tamir Chachamim, Ein Or Shel Gehenim Sholetet Behem. Another thing, we're all afraid of Gehenim, yeah? We're trying to find a way to protect ourselves from Gehenim. Tamir Chachamim, Ein Or Shel Gehenim Sholetet Behem. How the Chaymer from Salamandra. Salamandra, I said, is a Chaya, Sheretz. Some say Chaya, some say Sheretz. You burn fire 7 years in one place. That comes out automatically. gives birth to the salamander. We have Ben Chananel, others say in fact it's 7 days, and the Aruch says 70 years. All like something to do with 7. So salamander had to be a chayah. She told us it's a product of fire. So you see that fire does not affect the salamander. And the salamander is hasoch. Midoma ein or shaletet, by somebody who smears from the blood of the salamander is protected. Salamander is immune to fire. So if you take from the blood of the salamander, you smear it on you, you stick your hand in the fire, will not damage you, will not hurt you, will not burn you. So a salamander, which is only a told of Eish, it's a product of Eish. The salamander itself is not a fire. It's not a piece of fire. It's a told of not just a product of Eish, but called Gufan Eish. The entire body of Talmud Chacham is Eish. It says, "How we call the Vorah Eish Num Hashem." The word of Torah are Eish. Al Achas Kamal Kamish in Eish Shovetevem. And the Mashotak points out that the Torah Akdosh, by learning Torah, the Mamish you become transformed into a fire. So that's Mashot. By learning being the Torah's Eish, that's the whole idea that you become transformed. By learning Torah, you become transformed into Eish. So you become called Gufa Eish, and the male being that you're called Gufa Eish, the Gehenna is not Shoylet. Said Rav Tzodek HaKohen, very beautiful. What is the purpose of Gehenna? Good brother does not simply want to punish you. The task of Gehenna is to purify the Neshama. Because by every Avirah that a person does, the Neshama becomes stained. And there the task of Gehenna is to purify. And ultimately after that, be able to be Zoycha to go to Gan Eden. The tachlis of purifying the Torah Akdosh is Eish, so the Eish of Torah purifies you. So Mamela, you become refined and you become purified. In other words, Gehenna does in the next world, Torah does in this world. What do you need Gehenna for? Why do you need Gehenna? You're in Gehenna. Because the Torah purifies you. The Torah does all of it. As I have to tell you, but as I stand here, what comes to my mind, that you might remember many years ago something. A spiritual tragic thing happened. It was in Muncie that someone sold a butcher, an Ehrlich butcher was known at times, the Veil Situation. The terrible situation. It's a long time. And many people were initial. And I remember the tsar that the people had. Different Hasidim, Yeshivish, everywhere. Everyone, tremendous tsar. And there were a lot of drushes, by the way, what could be done as a tikkun. What could be done as a tikkun? Remember what the Solomon spoke, Lakewood, all of the things. It occurred to me at the time, take a look. Was it say in Pirkei Avos? Like somebody learns pure Torah. What does it say later? The Torah, right, is a machshir person. It transformed him. It fashions him to be a tzaddik. The Torah Akdosh said when you learn Torah, it kashes you. He says, Hechsher Hagola, the Libun. Libun is the highest form of Hechsher. Libun is the highest form, and the Torah is Libun. How I quite the right? It's fire. So I pointed out and I said to the Yoel Nebuch and Nechshel, right? If you have a cleave that becomes great, what do? You kasher it. You're malabin it. So the same way that you kasher and you malabin a kli, you can kasher, you could be malabin yourself also. That's what the Torah will tell you. Machsharto, the Torah kashes. Machsharto is sabbath. That's what the Torah goes about. So people like that, the last man over here, on the Shlokish. Shlokish says that a archel gehenim sholetet the Poshi Yisrael. Hafal Kafel. The archel gehenim was also not sholetet in Poshi Yisrael. I call the Chayim from the Mizbeach Hazor. Mizbeach Hazor, as you know, was in the Hekel. That was the Mizbeach that they were makar the Ketores. So Ma Mizbeach Hazor, she'ein olot elek oiri dinner zol. The Mizbeach Hazor basically was very thin plate of gold. So oiri dinner, like the thickness of a dinner zol, which comes out to be the place in your day, it says a shlish etzba. That's all. And that little bit of gold was able to be matzel on the Mizbeach. It burned fire Ketores and wasn't damaged. Even though the Mizbeach had very little gold, but oiri dinner zol. Ein ha'or choletet by kamishon. Poishe Yisrael shemalein mitzvahs kerimoy. Klal Yisrael, there even Poishe Yisrael feel like mitzvahs kerimoy. Instead of it say what kind of mitzvahs kerimoy? Tzedakah, Gemilas Chesed, or even when they do good things without kavanah, mitzvah says tzrichas kavanah. So even Poish Yisrael do a lot of good things. They don't mean l'shem mitzvah, but mitzvah says tzrichas kavanah is still a mitzvah, says the Ritzi. So they are filled with mitzvahs like a rimon. Geneva, the Pasuk said, the Pasuk says, Kipelach harimon, right, rakosech, al tikre, don't read rakosech, el rekonim shabbat, that even the most empty yid, even the most empty yid is filled like a rimon. Kipelach harimon rakosech, al haris kam the kama. What's a kama? If the cold on the Mezbeach is able to protect from fire, so the mitzvahs protect you from Gehenna. What's the kal v'chomer? The Ramashah says when you're Isaac, your mitzvahs have nachamod and mizah, because the mitzvahs are also gold. Right? A little bit of gold on the Mezbeach protects the Mezbeach, that the or is not shilet. So even Poish Yisrael that Malay mitzvahs karimai avaden. So I want to tell you the following. This is good news. This is good news. I want to ask you a question. You're talking about Talmidei Chachamim. The or of Gehenna is not shilet. What's the Talmidei Chacham doing in Gehenna b'chalden? What's he doing in Gehenna? And the or is not shilet. What's he doing in Gehenna? And what about the Poish Yisrael? Then why is there Gehenna? If the Arshal Gehenna is not shilet. Look in the Ayyak, a lot of Perushim. But there's a nifla to get slach, half of a fel. It's a brachas tevdov. And at the end of that piece, he says, look at Chagiga. Mamish is beside of the Chagiga. Slach says that of a nifla. Many tzaddikim on the way to Gan Eden. Listen to this. Many tzaddikim on the way to Gan Eden, they pass through Gehenna. Why they pass through? Not because they belong in Gehenna. There are Rishoyim over there that Kamat, they finish their term in Gehenna. And these Rishoyim happen during the lifetime, either they are Kroivim, they happen to be close to these Talmidei Chachamim. The Talmidei Chachamim goes to Gehenna to pull them out of Gehenna. So the reason that a Talmidei Chacham goes through Gehenna, not because he needs it in order to be able to be matzil others from Gehenna. And the Slach says that Tzaddik is ready to suffer the little bit of tsar going through Gehenna. He's ready to suffer to save another yid, to pull him out again. But with Chuzel Amaisa, we find out a secret that Talmidei Chacham are only going through Gehenna to save somebody else. Ein or shel Gehenna shalet his body. And the Poish Yisrael that it says over here, that Ein or shel Gehenna is talking about Poish Yisrael, who at least they have a shaykhis to Talmidei Chachamim. There may be craving Talmidei Chachamim. If you have a shaykhis to a Talmidei Chacham, that itself is a tremendous hatzolah. Tremendous hatzolah from Or shel Gehenna. And therefore, Avoisai, when we are learning Shas, we are learning the Torah of Tanoim and Amaroim. What greater shaykhis is there to have? To these greatest Talmidei Chachamim of all time, so we can share that Be'ez Hashem, that is chus of the words of the Talmidei Chachamim, the Tanoim and Amaroim, will benefit all of us, that Hashem will all be protected. No Gehenna, only Gan Eden, Kol Bracha V'Tzlach V'Dein B'Olam Hazeh, U'Vein B'Olam Haba.
We're going to ask Rabbi Elbaz to hear himself about
הדרן על החומר בקודש וסליק על מסכת חגיגה. הדרן הלך מסכת חגיגה והדרך עלן, דעתן לך מסכת חגיגה ודעת חלן, לא נתנשם ממנך מסכת חגיגה ולא נתנשם ממנן, לא בעמה הדין ולא בעמה דעתי. הדרן הלך מסכת חגיגה והדרך עלן, דעתן לך מסכת חגיגה ודעת חלן, לא נתנשם ממנך מסכת חגיגה ולא נתנשם ממנן, לא בעמה הדין ולא בעמה דעתי. הדרן הלך מסכת חגיגה בסדר מועד. והדרך עלן, דעתן לך מסכת חגיגה ודעת חלן, לא נתנשם ממנך מסכת חגיגה בסדר מועד ולא נתנשם ממנן, לא בעמה הדין ולא בעמה דעתי. יסוד לפניך אדוני אלוהינו ולאבותינו, שתהיה תורתך אומנותנו בעולם הזה ותהננו לעולם הבא, חמינה בר-פפא, רבי בר-פפא, נחמן בר-פפא, חי בר-פפא, אבא מרי בר-פפא, רפא בר-פפא, חיש בר-פפא, סולחה בר-פפא, אסדה בר-פפא, דרו בר-פפא. עלינו אדוני אלוהינו דברי תורתך בפינו, ופיו אדם לך לישראל לעיני כולנו, אנחנו נשאינו ונשאינו לך לישראל כולנו, ודאי שלך אמרנו בתורתך. ומבייתך כי יבין מצוותיך כי לעולם יהי לבי תמים מחוקיך, למען לא יבוש, לעולם לא ישכח פקודיך גם חייתני. ברוך אתה אדוני למדי לפוחיך. אמן אמן אמן, סלע ועד. מודים אנחנו נברך אדוני אלוהינו ולאבותינו, ששמת חלקנו יושבי בית המדרש, ולא שמת חלקנו יושבי חילונות, שאנו משכימים הם משכימים, אנו משכימים בתורה והם משכימים במבטלים. אנו עמלים הם עמלים, אנו עמלים מקבלים שכר, והם עמלים אינם מקבלים שכר. אנו נשאים הם נשאים, אנו נשאים חיים על המבא, והם נשאים לבן שחת, שנאמר ואתה לכם תוליד בן שחת, אנשי דמים ומה לא יחסו ימים מהמתנפלה. כן עשינו לפניך אדוני, אלוהי, כשם שעזרתנו לסיים מסכת חגיגה בסדר מועד, כן תעזרנו להתחיל מסכתות וספרים אחרים לסיימם וללמוד וללמד לשמוע לעשות להם את כל דברי תלמוד תורתך ואהבה, וזכות כל התנאים והאמוראים תלמידי חכמים ועמדנו וזרענו, שלא תמור שהתורה מפינו מפי זרענו וזרזנו עד ותתקיים בנו ותלכך תלכותך ושופך תשמע עדיך והכיסות היית שיחיך כי וירבו ימיך ויוסיפו לך שנות חיים אורך ימין במנהה מזמונה העושר וכבוד אדוני יעוז לעמו ייתן אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום יתגדל ויתחדש השם הרבה יעמד ויעתיד ויתחדתה ולחיים ותהיה ולעשתה יתחון לחיי עצמו ונכתת ושם ושכלך וחלב זלها ולמעיקה לכל חנן ומחרן לעלה ולתלה כל חנן תשמעיה לאתרל ימלך קודשה ולכו במלכותיהם ויתעלה ויסנח ופניהם וקרב משיחיהם بحي يخون يوم يخون حي يخون بالسائل بعد العوز من قريب وعبيد يشهد باس براخ نعم عمي البراخ بيشتبع بيتقوم سندد ذلك عن ثلانش من الكتشاب يخون لعنا من كل من خلتان شلتان تشبحتان عمتان ابنان بعماب إبراهيم عن إسرائيل بعن البنان ما تلمدون الكل تلمدين تلمدون أسكمرة تحت الاشتاء بفترة دمد بخلة المثال لأننا نكون خلنا نكسر عليه بالقدام من الشمال بالعاب إبراهيم يشمع الله شمع السبع يشمع من حمام الزبا وفواق الناس من الخبراء يوصل لنا نخر ويسلم إبراهيم وصي شلوم بينهما ببر حمام يعصي شمع علين ويكرم إسرائيل بإبراهيم يا حبيبي